Now, how many of you have got someone searching folders right now for requests that landed last week? Like every subject access request, a SAR, for those of you who don't know what it is, a SAR that lands in your organization sets this thing in motion. Someone starts searching for the information that's requested. Emails, shared drives, case systems, and folders nobody's even opened for ages. And for like complex requests, that can be like 2 weeks of a person who is a skilled person spending time looking for the information that you need to fulfill that request. And almost none of it is like part of what that actual person is meant to be doing. So today we're going to be showing you actually where human time is being drained and where AI can really lift some of that work off people and give them their time back, and how you kind of free people up to actually do the work that they're actually meant to be doing, right? My name is Laura Chattington. I partner with organizations to embed AI into their work streams so they can save time, add more value, and fully leverage AI to scale without losing their sanity. And I'm here with Tara Lee, who has over 20 years experience working in the health, social care, and the third sector, and has a background of commissioning of over £500 million, and is really focused on driving transformation programs across her clients with tangible outcomes. Now, we're talking about a workflow today, and I think one of the things is that most people they're stuck, they're confused, they can't see how to find real value in embedding AI in what they do. People are spending it writing emails, but they're not they're buying products, but in the back office, in the unsexy part of this, in the back office, people still can't see how to get real value back. So today we want to be showing people like the SAR process and what that actually looks like, right?
Yeah. And so today is absolutely that, Laura. It is about trying to bring to life for people how AI can be applied in practice in some of those areas where we know there's opportunity, but people are still struggling a little bit to see the wood for the trees in terms of the how to make that happen. So, and for many organizations, they are bound by certain regulatory and legislative, she says, if she can get her words out, requirements really do drive our requirements and a response to certain areas of our practice, including things like subject access requests.
Thank you for spelling that out for me if I didn't say that. Subject access requests. Now, let's start with, and I'm going to ask you to walk us through exactly what the process really looks like. And again, I know it doesn't sound sexy, but it's going to bring so much time back into your working week and into your team's working week that it really is highly, highly valuable, and a good example of actually how do you show how AI can actually work, right? Now, can you see that diagram?
Yeah, can see that diagram. So just for reassurance, everyone, that this is not somebody's flow chart. This is just an example that we've pulled together. So we're not breaching anyone's sort of data here, but it is an example of what a subject access request workflow looks like, fairly in terms of some fairly standard steps within most organizations. So what happens is a subject access request can land with any member of our team quite often, and those individuals then have to do something with that thing. So quite often it might land with any member of staff, and they need to either link with our information governance team or our governance team or our quality team, or whomever we've allocated the lead responsibility in our organization for managing subject access requests. So there's a process there around receiving the subject access request and then ensuring that then lands in the place with the team that are responsible for logging that request. So that is a process that at the moment is quite manual in terms of people clocking it in emails or receiving contact around wanting a subject access request and ensuring that's logged with the right and proper team. There's then a process that that team do, and let's call it a governance team or an information governance team for the purpose of this example, where they need to ensure that that request is valid.
Yeah.
So they need to check that we've done ID verification checks. They need to ensure that that the request is coming from a suitable individual, that there's no blocks or barriers to providing that information, but also to just ensure that we're clear about what the ask is in terms of what is the information being requested, what are the parameters, in what information sources, and all of that sort of thing. Once we've done all of that validation, and I'm super simplifying it here, folks, but once we've done those validation checks, then our statutory response time clock starts.
The clock starts ticking, right?
Clock starts ticking. And then we then have a month statutory response time to ensure that we respond to that said request.
Yeah.
And so we then need to start doing that information gathering. And we've talked about the complexities of where information's held within organizations when we've spoken in the breathing room previously. So when we get these subject access requests, it's not necessarily a very simple and linear process of one bit of information from one source. You know, quite often we're asked to pull together information across a range of different sources, and to pull that together into a response. So firstly, do we hold the information? Where's it held? What are the sources, etc.
Yeah.
Then we check if there's any exemptions. Well, first we check any exemptions before we go running off, and we also check around the complexity of the request before we start that information gathering process. Once we've done all of those checks, we gather in the information. We then have to do a piece of work around reviewing the information's being pulled, checking whether or not any exemptions replied, looking at where we might need to redact information, either about individuals or third parties that are not relevant to the request. And then we need to do final checks and reviews before we ultimately then, I guess, release that information for disclosure.
Yeah. And I know that there is I mean, we have kind of, this is just kind of made up. It's hypothetical, but, you know, we're looking, that final disclosure is like in one calendar month, right? And the actual time, and we're not going to go through all this time, but it's taking people days and days and, you know, going through all these things that they have to check, which is hugely time like draining, isn't it? Unless you've got hyper efficient systems in place, and even when you do, that's not necessarily, you know, a quick solution.
And it's not single individuals either. So
right.
We're talking about multiple teams, multiple individual touch points within a process that are both a coordinating team in terms of coordinating the response against our required timeframes, but also, depending on the request, that could touch multiple individuals in your organization with differing responsibility. So we've then got multiple individuals that might be supporting an information gathering process to support a response.
So when I hear those words in my ears of like loads of time, multiple, you know, processing, loads of data, loads of complicated, time-consuming tasks, my little AI ears like pop up, and I'm like, awesome for AI, for this, for plugging in AI into this kind of work stream. So I'm going to share here again. I'm going to share what I'm not going to share that actually, because that's not the right one. Hold on a second. I'm going to share the one that it should be no. Okay, let me go. Oh, there we go. Can you see that?
Yep.
Cool. So what might it look like if and where can AI plug into this workflow? Now, I think that the first sort of premise to talk about is that it's not like you start the request, AI does everything, and then you finish the request, cross your fingers, and hope that's okay, right?
No,
But
absolutely not.
there are like areas of the work stream where AI can just do all of the processing for you. So to give an example here, you'll see like in that first step, is this a SAR request? Is this a SAR? It can triage the inbox, it can flag them, it can like assess, is it a complaint, how serious it is, and it can draft that kind of handoff note and initiate the work for that request. Again, step 2, it's checking what's missing. It's drafting any clarification emails, doing that data validation that takes humans loads of time, but actually takes AI, does it really, really fast.
And if an organisation, I guess, has a specific form that they require completing to support a subject access request, I guess that's something that could be built into that process as standard as well, Laura, hey?
Yeah, 100%. So, and when that clock starts, AI is tracking, logging, checking status. Where are we? What's next steps? What needs to happen? What's missing? And just a system that actually tracks and reminds you of exactly where you are and what's important. And it's a bit like our contract workflow. When we're talking about contract workflows, it's just having that data really easily accessible, so you know exactly what the priorities are, right? Step 4, so where's the information held? AI can really help with that. And I don't think I've met any company that is so efficient. They know exactly where everything is all of the time, and it's easy to find. But actually, AI can sort of do some of that searching for you. And the more that you do it, the more the AI compounds, because you're building the intelligence in the AI to be able to know where everything is, right? So that, again, every time you get a request through, it's compounding the value that you have in that AI model. So it can help you do that. It can help you do step 5, which is flagging third parties. Make it you talk about this, Tara-Lee, because it's more technical than but kind of risk of harm, suggesting redactions, what kind of stuff would that be?
Yeah, so in terms of exemptions to subject access requests, there are very strict parameters, obviously, to safeguard the process and ensure that there is safety for whomever is requesting the information about themselves or somebody else within the agreed parameters within the legal framework. So, clearly the AI can help, as we say, Laura, just doing some of that first pass referencing, making sure that we're not looking for third-party data that's not held by us as organisations, ensuring that we do protect the rights of others. So is it that the individual that is requesting the data, it is their data? Is it someone else? What's the relationship to the data that's being requested? Is it for legal reasons, etc., etc. So there. Obviously, we would need to build this for each individual's process, but clearly these are some of the things to think about.
And sort of finally is how complex is the request and estimating scope. And as you say, it's different for different people, different companies. But I think what's important is like what's on the right hand side as well, which is like how much time you get, how much time you save, right? We're talking hours back. We're not talking a few minutes here and a few minutes there. And as a kind of process, you can really model and track and see the return, right? So it's not just, oh, AI is helping me do a bit of this. It's like from start to finish, this is how much time your team's getting back.
And I guess the thing with that, Laura, too, is that even if people or organizations don't feel comfortable about thinking about the AI opportunities at every single step, we might think about part of the step, and that will still drive a return for organizations and individuals in terms of time saved and capacity released. So whilst we obviously here are promoting and providing the potential opportunity across the entirety of the workflow, there are opportunities, even if someone said, do you know what, I think just to help do one of these steps, there's opportunities in terms of AI release and capacity.
100%. And also, you can build it in as you go along, right? You can build the steps in as you go along. So you're seeing return immediately, and then you're just adding more of the process in as you go through. And before we go, just to make sure that everyone is like, human validation and judgment remains, right? It's not like, oh, it's magic, you put it in and we don't ever have to do anything. Is making sure there is human validation and judgment in there. So verification, making sure kind of final disclosure sign off, making sure the cases, all the sensitivities, all the human interaction still needs to be done by a human.
And the critical judgment, 100%. No subject access request should be leaving an organization without human oversight and sign off. I think that's a really key and critical message to take away.
So with that message that you should take away, and I hope that gives you an example of really practical ways that you can plug AI into like very specific workflows, so you can get a huge amount of return and really give it's about giving your team time back in their week so that they can focus on the things they want to focus on, and know that things like SAR, what other workflows that you have like operate in a similar way. AI can really compound the speed and the value and the accuracy that these things are done. So awesome, great to see you, Charlie, and look forward to any questions that you have or anything that you want to talk further about, anything that we discuss on the Breathing Room. Then connect with Charlie and myself on LinkedIn, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week.